here. Over the summer, her campaign was all about joy and good vibes. That is kind of gone now. Her closing argument has very little to do with any of that. It really has very little to do with her or her policies. It is almost entirely about Donald Trump.
Fox's Peter Doocy in Clarkston outside Atlanta. Harris says she believes former President Trump is a fascist who wants unchecked power. Trump and Harris call each other unfit for office. He has 2 rallies today in 2 of the other battleground states, Arizona and Nevada. Confirmation from Israel that talks on a ceasefire in Gaza will soon resume. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
The office of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the director of the Mossad spy agency will fly to Qatar on Sunday. David Barnea will restart talks on securing the release of hostages held by Hamas. Also there will be the head of the CIA, Bill Burns, plus Egypt's intelligence chief and Qatar's prime minister. The Qataris have mediated negotiations between Israel and Hamas for much of the year without success.
In Qatar today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken urging Israel to capitalize on its military success, including the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. The CDC just confirming 2 bird flu cases among poultry farm workers in Washington state. Now 29 confirmed cases in several states, mostly farm workers who had contact with infected dairy cows. Federal health officials say the risk to the general public remains low. America is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All about sunshine and temperatures slightly above average. 74 for the high. Feels pretty good out there. Tonight, some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. 59 for a warm overnight low. Warm for October. Friday, some scattered morning showers. Otherwise, sunny skies return. 78. The weekend's fantastic. Sunny and cooler. 66 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 5-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
The Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown with Sammy Kershaw,
that's my story.
Colin Ray,
that's my
and Aaron Tippett. Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
There ain't nothing wrong with
Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown.
Step into a world of enchantment this holiday season with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland. From awe-inspiring acrobatics to gravity-defying aerial feats, it's the perfect fusion of circus artistry and beloved holiday songs in a celebration guaranteed to create memories for the entire family. December 5th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Inspire your holiday spirit with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer. If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'm going to tell you what I know. Lots going on, and today to me was kind of the break point day. Things are very tense now. I'm for America. I don't have a candidate in this race, and I'm doing my best to try to make sure the country comes out of this election as united as we can be, regardless of the outcome. As always, every day, I ask you, imagine how you'll handle it if your candidate loses. But things are quite tense. This morning, we talked on the program about the fact that the early vote looks very good for Republicans. Not that they're going to win the early vote, but that the delta is going to be small enough, if it stays on this trajectory, that election day would be anticlimactic, that Democrats are going to have to do better. And they say they will. Dan and I have asked Democrats, say, we're talking to Democrats. They're telling us things don't look good. If you want to dispute that, point to some public data. We're not suppressing anything. We always want to present the full story.
Well, Mark Halperin was talking about the way the polling numbers look, and I think he's saying what we've been saying on the show a lot. And I mean, listen, we see the polls that you see. We have pollsters come on the show every once in a while and talk about what they're seeing, but they're front-facing polls. And if you're looking at front-facing polls and you understand that Donald Trump usually performs better than the polls suggest he's going to perform, you're going to have a little extra pep in your step right now if what the polling shows comes to fruition in 12 days. 12 days until the election. So when I listen to what he's saying there, though, he's also talking about what I think a lot of other people are starting to think about a little bit more because the election is imminent, is that things are looking a little tense. The stakes are becoming very high. We know that there's a finality, thank the Lord, to this election season, and people are starting to reconcile that finality in their mind, leaning into what the polls say. Now, here's what I'm paying attention to the most. There's the polls that we see, and then we talk all the time about the difference between those polls that you can just consume that are put out by media outlets or just polling agencies is what they do for a living. But campaigns pay for polls internally. You and I don't see internal polling. And I think it was it Tim Murtaugh that was on the show with us who was like, we don't pay people to lie to us?
Yes. Yeah, that was him.
So Tim Murtaugh is a Donald Trump advisor, and he was talking about the internal polls, and he was talking confidently about the internal polls and suggesting that, you know, the direction that this is all heading has a positive outlook for Donald Trump. I would advise everybody to look very closely and carefully as to how the Trump campaign is acting, where they're going, what they're doing, and then conversely, look at Kamala Harris's campaign and what they're doing, how they're acting, and where they're going. To me, that's the biggest indicator of what those internal polls actually say. I need to talk to somebody who's like deep into campaigning and campaign finance and all of that. So this Bill Gates $50 million donation to Kamala Harris,
Mm-hmm.
You don't donate $50 million to something if it's going to be a loser in 2 weeks.
Well, that's what you would think.
Here's my question. Does the Kamala Harris campaign cease to become an actual campaign for the presidency and transfer over into becoming a bank for the Democratic Party for the next round? Kamala Harris, it'll be interesting to see if Joe Biden has any say over these funds anymore.
Yeah, remember when we were talking about that Joe Biden had raised X amount of dollars and that it was pretty substantial, and how could you have anybody else take over the ticket other than Kamala because of the laws and where that money's allocated. So I do wonder if that's...
Well, she's the only one who could use that money without Joe Biden turning it over. And they don't turn that money over after the campaign. They don't hand over that money to the DNC. They keep it, and then they will apply it to the next cause that they believe in. Hillary Clinton... I can't remember the specific details behind it, but my recollection was that the Hillary Clinton campaign bankrupted the DNC, but that Hillary Clinton had her own funds, and she wasn't doing too bad. I think that's the way I remember that story. But I'm starting to wonder. I'm looking at Bill Gates going, 50 million? Now, I know that 50 million, one way or the other for you, is whatever.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to make sure that the 50 million that you had was going to go towards Democratic causes or people that you believed would spend that money the way you wanted it to be spent, you probably got to get it in while the getting's good. I'm not 100% sure. It's the one thing in all of this that makes me scratch my head, because Kamala Harris, I said this on Twitter and I'll say it again right here. You know, at the end of pirate ship movies where there's a battle at the end of the movies, mm-hmm. and it's getting real dire for one side, and they're like, take anything you can and put it in the cannons. Yeah. And then they start firing like forks mm-hmm. at the other side. We're at that point in the campaign for Kamala Harris. Whatever you can find, put it in the cannon and fire. That's what it feels like to me. Sometimes those people win.
Yeah, sometimes a fork lodges itself right in your heart.
Or in your eyeball, like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Uh-oh.
It feels very much like panic on the Kamala Harris side. And she goes to do this CNN town hall. I know that especially conservative media is like, do more interviews. And then she does interviews and you're like, why are you doing interviews? So I know if you're Kamala Harris, you're probably thinking, I don't really know how to please you people. And the answer is, I don't think you can, because you're a bad candidate. Are you a bad person? We can discuss that in a different time. But as far as being a candidate for the president of the United States, she's an absolute disaster when it comes to advocating that she is capable of being the president of the United States.
Yeah, I think what drives me crazy is what we all know, is that assuming, it's a big assumption, but let's say that Kamala Harris loses this election. In 2 weeks, because it's 12 days away, let's say we know it election night, we know that she lost. In 2 weeks, 14 days from now, you're going to have the same people out in the media who right now are like, she's unbelievable. She's come from...
Just like Kamala Harris was doing about Joe Biden right before Kamala Harris became the nominee.
You know exactly where I'm going with this. They're going to say, well, she was a really weak candidate. They're gonna tell you the whole time up until Election Day that she's amazing, and then right afterwards acknowledge reality.
At 12:45, Wiggins America is happening once again. What's the subject this week or today?
How to judge success.
Well, that doesn't necessarily apply to this, but I feel like Kamala Harris at the CNN town hall last night listened to Wiggins America advice on like how to do in a job interview or something like that,
mm-hmm.
like things to say and things not to say.
Crazy, weird things you shouldn't feed your pet.
When your interviewer says, tell me about your greatest weakness. And then Ryan Wiggins goes to like goobersforyou.com and finds you some really great advice on how to win that job. And it says
Is
to do
there
this.
something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes.
Humble.
And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes.
She became a stepmom when they were 15 and 20.
In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that
weaknesses.
I am well versed on issues, and
weaknesses.
I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Is there something you can?
She's terrible.
She should have just said speaking.
I know. I'm like, yeah, tell me you have weaknesses without telling me you have weaknesses. Ergo.
I really don't know if I have any of the what you would refer to as the weaknesses.
Donald Trump fascist. Is there a dumber answer?
I mean, that here's the thing. That is a tough question. Sometimes questions, this is the way it should be. They take you off guard, especially when people are being journalists. You're at a town hall. It's live. This is the way it should happen. You also are running for president of the United States. You should be ready for those kinds of questions, and she wasn't.
The thing that really irks me about this is, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, if Donald Trump was asked that question, what would he say? We just heard from General Kellogg on this show that Donald Trump said in the Oval Office during COVID, I just want everybody to be okay. And General Kellogg was like, go to the press. Go tell him right now. And he goes, I can't. It would show weakness. So he couldn't go say that because he didn't want to show weakness. So if you ask President Trump, what are your weaknesses? I think what he would say is, I think some people think that the way I talk or how I approach things is a weakness. And I understand why some people are maybe feel that that's abrupt. But the reason I do it is because of X, Y, Z. Like to acknowledge something, anything that you have that might be a perceived weakness, you have the opportunity to say, I know that there are a lot of people who would say that this is a weakness of mine. She could say, and I don't know how she would, I don't think there's any substance to her. I don't think that there's a way to explain it. She could say, I know that people sometimes feel that I don't provide as much clarity in my answers as they want me to at that given time, but it's very important for me to understand how to communicate something to people who want to know a specific thing about a policy, and they can be more complicated sometimes than other. She could say that some people criticize my laugh and think that my laugh is something that is like bringing that out into the forefront. She could use that as an opportunity to parlay it into how she wants to live in a country where there is more laughter, where there isn't as much divisive. I mean, it can all be bologna sausage, but she can still figure out a way to say it. And she doesn't have that ability. And she doesn't have anything to say that isn't pre-programmed into her from a staff that has to prep her for these types of things. And I don't really understand what they are prepping her for. Everybody, I don't care where you go. You need to be able to answer the what's your weakness? What's your weakness?
Selfishness. Not thinking about others as much as I think about myself.
Brad?
Anger, and I can be a little scatterbrained.
I'm ultra competitive, and I completely don't trust people. And that's, those are things that are probably in all three of our experiences. There are things that maybe you were a little prone to by nature, but nurture over the course of 40 some odd years has made you become a little more stubborn about those things. I think you can also, it is a strength to be aware of your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And it's ignorant to pretend you don't have any. Everybody has weaknesses. I want to play this last clip from this town hall. Just these questions really get under my skin. Let's listen to what she has to say here. Hold on a second.
Spiritual. But I just called him. I needed that spiritual kind of connection. I needed that advice. I needed a prayer. And And there's a part of the scripture that talks about Esther and a time such as this, and that's what we talked about. And it was very comforting for me. And
do you pray every day?
I do pray every day. I do pray every day, sometimes twice a day. I grew up. So we grew up a little neighborhood church in Oakland, 23rd Avenue Church of God, and I was raised to believe in a loving God, to believe that your faith is a verb. You know, you live your faith, and that the way that one should do that is that your work and your life's work should be to think about how you can serve in a way that is uplifting other people, that is about caring for other people.
Going back to the weakness question, how do you answer a question about faith and talk about a Christian faith? And she says there's a part of scripture that talks about Esther. No, Esther is scripture, technically. It is not appropriate for every woman to apply the Esther principle to themselves for such a time as this, for anything. For this is not a fill-in-the-blank scenario. But when you listen to Kamala Harris give such a saccharine, I'll use the lowercase w, witness on what faith means. Faith is not about being a good person. It's not about showing people how good you are. It's about admitting that you are a weak person, that you're a broken person, and that you're saved. And if you're going to get asked a question about faith, if that's the question that's posed to you, and you miss the opportunity to respond in a way that says, you know, I'm going to need God every step of the way when I'm the president of the United States. I'm going to rely on prayer every waking moment that I'm the president of the United States. And I will ask him to uplift me in every weakness that I have, known and unknown. And I will ask him to repair the country in every nook and cranny where we have divisiveness and brokenness. God is going to be a huge part of this. And I know that no man or woman can go into this office without God leading the charge. And I intend to follow in the footsteps of those who came before me. I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be. And at least for my salvation, I've been made whole. But as for this election in this country, I plan to win the presidency of the United States to make, you can't say make this country great again, but maybe she could. I don't know why she'd stop now. When she's going through and talking about her faith, she doesn't even know what to say then. What's more personal than your faith? Like, who programs into you what to say when you get the faith question? Why is that something that doesn't just pour out of her mouth?
Yeah, that's what's so hard is that I actually, and I've said this before about even Nancy Pelosi, when they say these things and they're even disingenuous, I'm still open arms. Please, talk about your faith more. I love it. Even if it's from a focus group, which clearly this is, because earlier this week, she said, you're at the wrong rally when somebody yelled out Jesus is king.
Yeah.
So this is all in response to somebody telling her, oh, you need to get Christians back on board. So she did this town hall. I get it. I still like it when people talk about their faith. I like it when presidential candidates do it. I wish Trump would do it more.
Exactly.
I like when people, here's the key to, when somebody says not just my faith, but they talk about God, or especially they use the name of Jesus, you can hear it the way they say his name.
You know it.
You know it.
Yeah.
And I want to hear more of it.
We spend so much time litigating Donald Trump's Christian faith and how good of a Christian he is and how qualifying of a Christian he is. We spend so much time discussing, whether or not he gets to qualify. To Andy's comment on our YouTube channel, you give Trump all the room he needs with the whole Christianity thing, but her approachable answer is not enough. Andy, what you don't understand is that it's a pretty simple equation. You are a sinner, you are going to hell, and Christ has saved you with his own blood. That's it. That's the qualification. From a Christian standpoint, to listen to people who don't have the faith, and if you're listening right now and you don't consider yourself a Christian, it's still important to understand what Christians believe. You don't get to repackage what Christian faith is when you're not a participant in it. I'm not going to go tell the Muslims, you're doing this, and this wrong, and they're not going to go, oh, I haven't considered that before. Thank you for your generosity and advice and suggestion. So many people who don't have the Holy Spirit in their heart are using this moment in time to tell Christians how they're supposed to act, what they're supposed to believe, and why they're wrong from a completely secular, non-believing place. The whole point is that we cannot qualify who is saved and who is not saved. And the judgment here that is being made is that there is so much external judgment on Donald Trump as to whether or not he's a qualifying Christian. And what I'm telling you is Donald Trump doesn't pander to anybody and put himself out there so that he can appear to be some qualified Christian. His faith is between himself and his Savior, period, end of story. And anybody else who's sitting on the sideline straightening their ties and feeling all self-righteous in their, I'm not going to vote for Trump because I'm a good Christian, you don't get it either. And it's time to wake up. I'm sick and tired of politicians who are trying really hard to be the polished thing that everybody wants them to be. That's what Kamala Harris is trying to do, is be everything to everybody. And she's bad at all of it because she's nothing to nobody. She isn't her own person. She's pre-programmed. I want something that's real and genuine, where I can see it for the sum total of what it is, make my judgments on each particular category, and go from there. How could you trust Kamala Harris with anything? She believes in nothing. She's a terrible salesperson. I don't know how she makes sure that she goes into a conversation with a world leader who wants our demise and is able to sell them the idea that America is too strong for them to do that. She can't do it. She can't do it to the American people. How is she going to do it then?
Yeah, not to mix a spiritual point here, but almost the greatest sin in politics is just being disingenuous because people can read it.
Yeah.
And she is. She's just disingenuous. As much as you can hate Trump, you know that he's telling you whatever's on his mind at any given moment.
All else I have to say before we are really late for Hans von Spakovsky is if Kamala Harris wins this election and you're still saved by Christ, you're still a winner. Let's go. Let's take a quick break. Hans von Spakovsky is going to talk to us about fascism just to level out the hour. And then we're going to turn it over to Ryan Wiggins, who's going to what? Tell us how to know if we're successful?
Re-level out the hour.
Re-level.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about success.
The Annie Fry Show is always a roller coaster. Hans von Spakovsky, next.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
There's more to the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's than just walking, and even more reasons to join us for families facing the disease today. For more time, for treatments, we're closer than ever to stopping Alzheimer's, but to get there, we need you. Join us October 26th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alz.org/STL Walk. That's alz.org/STL Walk.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want?
We the people of the United States,
More perfect.
your form of our perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Well, Hans, sorry to get to you a little bit later here than usual, but so much going on with this election right now. And the biggest thing that's out there right now is this idea that Donald Trump, this is just in. This is brand new information. We've never heard this before, that Donald Trump is a fascist. Welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me here. It seems to me I've heard that before. Look, you know, you had that quote from Kamala Harris saying, oh, he wants unchecked power. No. Apparently, she and Joe Biden want unchecked power. All you got to do is look at what they've done over the past 4 years to see that.
Well, I wanted to give you the opportunity, if you would, as a constitutional scholar and a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, to talk to us about what fascism actually is without really the political tinge that we often hear about it the most. This person's a fascist, that person's a fascist. How do you define fascism so that we can better identify what it is when we see it?
Well, I will do that, but keep in mind that my mother and grandmother lived under it. Okay, My mother grew up in Nazi Germany, which was a fascist state, and what it means is the people controlling the government believe that the government should basically control everything. They don't completely run private industry the way they do under communism, but they control it. They propagandize the schools. Hitler took over the K through 12 schools in order to put his propaganda in to consolidate his control. Does that sound very familiar to what the left is doing with DEI and putting in hatred of America, et cetera? He controlled information throughout the country. That's another sign of fascism, censoring and controlling the flow of information. We just had a Supreme Court case, right, against, who was it? The Biden administration. Why? Because they were secretly behind the scenes, all these federal government agencies during his administration, coordinating with, threatening, coercing all the big social media companies to censor the speech of American so-called misinformation. Basically, they wanted their opinion, their view on all these issues to be the only prevailing communications made. Also, it means political control and political use of the law enforcement arms of the government. Do we need to go, Annie, through what the FBI and the Justice Department have been doing for the last 4 years? Does anybody doubt that that's been happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually frightening to understand the efforts that have been made that we've been living in the midst of right now with really at least to the American people, that control of information. I mean, I've never heard the word misinformation and disinformation more than I've heard it under Joe Biden's administration. I think they even created a department or a committee of it or something. But all of these other things become possible when you get to control who gets to say what and when.
No, that's exactly right. People shouldn't forget that, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, remember, the Biden administration was going to open up a misinformation office at the Department of Homeland Security, whose job it was going to be to censor and make sure there was no misinformation. And that only after a public outcry about that and a public outcry over the woman they were going to put in charge of it did that get canceled. Again, look, I'm not telling people who to vote for, but nothing like that happened during the 4 years of the Trump administration. Look, another sign of fascism and a fascist government is one where the people in power do whatever they want to and they ignore the laws. They pay no attention to the laws. Well, I don't think anybody can point to me a single instance in which during the Trump administration he did things that were violating federal law, or a single case where when there was a dispute over some action and a court said, no, you can't do this, that he violated that court order. Student loans, repayment, the Supreme Court saying, no, you, Joe Biden, you can't just simply write off these loans, and they're still saying they can do it and will do it in total violation, not only of federal law, but a Supreme Court order. Again, I don't recall that happening during the Trump administration.
Not at all. So if you know the way that we're describing fascism here, and the application of what we've seen here just in very recent history, I mean, there are two parts to this. One is it's the leading criticism of Donald Trump that his fascist behavior is a threat to democracy. I'm going to give you the opportunity just to respond to that sentence here in a second. But the fascist word is being applied to Donald Trump as if it's something that he is bringing back into American government, politics, culture, life. And in the meantime, while that accusation is being thrown out against their political opponent, there are markings of fascism that are stitched into the last 3.5 years of this administration that are pretty easy to call out when you put them together like that. What do you think of that sentence that Donald Trump is a fascist who is a threat to democracy?
Well, I just don't know where they're getting that. I mean, they're just making that up. Again, like I said, you look at the actual actions of his 4 years and you compare that to the actions of the past 4 years of this administration. And if there's anybody who is a threat to democracy, it's the current administration. And look, another example, again, fascist governments just ignore whatever laws are in place, whatever laws are passed by their legislatures. We just had Kamala Harris admit that she's going to continue, if she gets elected, to violate federal immigration law. She says she won't deport anyone. She's going to give mass parole to illegal aliens. Look, we have a very complete set of immigration laws, none of which give a president the power to do any of those things. So, in essence, the Biden administration, really for the last 3.5 years, has been violating federal law by allowing these illegal aliens into the country, not deporting them, giving them mass parole, also giving them work permits, a certain percentage of them, when federal law does not allow them to do that. Again, they're just ignoring the law. They're violating it. That is a hallmark of fascist governments.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there in plain sight for everyone to see that the socialist tendencies that we see from people who are elected into our government, they don't push away from the word socialist at all. A lot of the fascism that they're lobbing towards their opponents for political fodder over, semantical arguments, you can really turn that around and reflect quickly on how they've employed a lot of the elements of it as well. Before we let you go, Hans, I always like to give you the opportunity to talk about should I guess you could say either candidate, but I have only faith that one will do it. Should Donald Trump get elected? Is it just the mentality? Is it just the ideology of the person who goes in there that takes us in the opposite direction of these fascist behaviors that we've seen from the current administration? Or are there actual appointments or firings or maneuvers that can be made by the executive to dramatically shift the direction that the country is headed right now currently into this fascist state?
Well, I will tell you that in addition to firing every single political appointee, frankly, people who are dangerous, that were put into the executive branch by President Biden, there's got to be a complete house cleaning of folks inside the Justice Department, folks inside the Department of Homeland Security, all the people who out there have been doing everything from not enforcing our immigration laws, at DOJ abusing their powers to engage in political prosecutions not justified by the facts. I mean, there have to be major, I think, firings and terminations of some of the worst people in the federal government.
Hans, we appreciate you, as always, to bring some constitutional expertise to the conversation. There's a lot of lawyers on Twitter, and I am not one of them. So we always appreciate you coming on and leveling the playing field a little bit. Hans, thanks for being with us today.
Sure, and I'll talk to you next week.
I'm looking forward to it. Hans von Spakovsky, he is an expert, a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, and a former FEC commissioner. Love having Hans on to speak with us. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, when we come back, the YouTube live chat poll. Hey, folks, need to know from you. Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? Note, I am not indicating who is going to win the election. So when you're asking yourself about violence after the election, maybe to some it matters who wins and who loses. Be interesting to find out what you think about this. Go vote. And leave a comment as to why you voted the way you did on the Andy Fry YouTube channel. Wiggins America next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this: durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com. At Hampton Manor of Wentzville, they go the extra step to make sure their residents feel special. Mark Cox here for my friends at Hampton Manor. I recently stopped by there. You know, their veterans are celebrated with special recognitions, including special pastries created by their pastry chef. They have their own private chef. They'll even feed you lunch if you stop by for a visit at this great senior living community off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. Schedule your appointment today at wentzvilleassistedliving.com.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe v. Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? Let us know what you think about this very serious topic. It is 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! You know what Venus kind of rhymes with that I am? Genius.
That could have gone a lot of different ways.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I was thinking something else.
Oh, you were?
No.
Let's talk about it off air. These are ways to analyze whether or not you are actually a success in life.
This is going to be a really public way to find out I'm not.
Yeah, this is a very public way to find out that you're not, or that you are. I'm going to go through a couple of criteria. You can answer them. If you're listening along, you can answer them for yourself as well. Number 1, do you live your values? See, this, it's kind of a layup. I figured that you do. The people in the room, you guys live your values pretty much, unless there's anything you really want to air out.
Let's get into our deep, dark secrets right here at 12:45 on a Thursday.
All right, let's say that one's a win. Let's say that one is a success. Number 2.
You just going to glaze over that? What about you, Ryan?
I'm living my values, for sure.
Can you define your values?
I will once you do.
How about I define your values?
And then I'll define yours?
It starts with sugar.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it ends with
Debbie.
Sugar. Yeah.
It ends with cream pie. That sounded bad. I'm talking about an oatmeal cream pie. Number 2, let's just keep going. Are you working on your life? Are you working on your life?
I'm working on everybody else's.
We all need to work in our lives, navigating our daily routines to get stuff done. Speaking of knowing what your weaknesses are, sometimes we get jammed up in habits, systems, or processes that no longer serve us or anyone well. Greater success comes from working on your life, too. Would you say that you are doing this?
Yeah. I signed the documents on my estate plan today with my husband this morning.
Okay.
That's like a big girl thing to do. It's like the last thing you do.
Yeah.
I think I'm done here.
You don't have to do anything else.
Go check out Civia Law. They'll take care of you, too. Yeah, I feel like with 4 kids, it's like my life is completely manageable, but it's just, we live 24 hours out. My kids said yesterday, like, what are we doing Friday? And I just laugh. I'm like, Friday?
Yeah. What?
What day is today? Will it ever be Friday?
Actually, what day is today? Thursday?
I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
I literally need to make sure, if Brad or Ethan doesn't change the day on the top of the page, I will go until something convinces me otherwise that whatever is there is real.
Or puts a question mark at the end, Thursday, October 24th?
Ish. ...
Mhm.
I would say other people would probably say yes.
Brad, are you working on your life?
I don't know how you can live and not be working on your life.
Oh, I can think of a few examples.
Well, I guess you're right
I can
there.
too.
Let's not talk about that, though.
Yeah,
It's all
I would
positive.
say so. I'm trying to do my best at whatever it is that I can do, but
It's almost that. It's almost an understanding that, like, you're trying to do your best and you're trying to do it, but that there's no finish line.
No.
It's not like, well, I did it. This is it.
I almost don't know how you couldn't. I mean, if you are just like, I'm not going to get a job, I am going to stay up all night playing video games, and I'm going to live off the government.
Yeah, but
Like,
what if those are your values?
I know, but are you improving? Are you moving toward
The
it?
Venn diagram of those people and Ryan Wiggins probably intersects at oatmeal cream pies.
It is a question. Are you working on your life? Because there probably are people that are not, but man, it would be tough.
All right. Well, if it's your values, you're using the video game and government. If you're maximizing your government rewards and you're maximizing your video game skill, then you are working on your life.
So you're trying to like fit in more video games and try to get
Getting
some other subsidy.
Getting better
More
at both
talented
of those.
at the video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Ethan? Are
Am
you
I working on
your
my life? Yes, I would say that I am working on my life. It is hard, like you said. The first thing you said was the people in this room. You kind of assumed the first answer, and I think with that answer, when you look at the values and the morals of everyone in here, it's like, how can you not be working on your life? So,
Ethan is on the exciting end of working on your life, though. We're on the preserving end.
Yep.
Ethan still has unanswered questions.
Yeah. He's still like fresh fruit. We are jam.
Yeah. We're getting to
like
the place
jam.
where we're getting AARP mailers that are the most offensive things you can get
Oh.
when you're in your 40s, and also like questions about like, have you been saving enough in your retirement yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where we are.
The next one, do you appreciate what you already have? Do you live in gratitude?
I think that I have, yes. Yes, simply yes.
Yeah, I would say so, and I think it's changed on what it is that I'm grateful for. It's a better understanding of what actually matters.
Yeah, I would say that this is something that I have grown in.
It's tougher when you're younger, I think. I really do.
Yeah, not having, because I don't think it naturally comes just being thankful for what you've been blessed with or what you've had, or what you have put yourself in a position to be able to gain. And I think that here in the last year and a half, that's something that I've grown a lot in.
too, it's like with being grateful for things, but being at that point, like Annie was saying, Ethan's at that point where he still has unanswered questions, and in working on your life and improving, you can still have aspirations and be grateful for what you have currently.
Ryan has huge aspirations.
Thank you.
Oh, we can let it marinate. I got no problem with that.
Do you have
huge?
Wait a minute. I was just nodding in agreement. I get you're doing something different there, though.
No. You were
Talking
right the
about
first
my
time.
butt. Do you have a growth mindset? Do you have a growth mindset?
Do you have a growth
Annie?
mindset?
Were we just talking about his
do
butt?
you have a growth on your huge aspiration? Go
There
see a
goes
doc-
the segment.
I mean,
go see a doc for that.
Yes, I do. But again, that sounds like you're saying something else.
Mm-mm.
And I'm confused. Do you have a growth mindset, Annie? Do you strive for success?
Yes, very.
You'll make mistakes.
It might be a weakness. If I were Kamala Harris, I would say my weakness is that I have too big of a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm. Brad?
What?
I don't.
Did I?
I don't know. Like
I've
you
done
just keep
some
putting the
intentional double
emphasis on
entendres.
assets and stuff, and I'm like, I think she's doing it on purpose.
I never once said assets.
You did.
I never implied that.
Aspirations.
I never implied that you have assets.
That's
Get your
right.
ass words right.
Right. Yeah. Yes, that's right. I've got
AS.
multiple aspirations.
I don't know.
Wait, really?
Maybe he doesn't get
How
the
does
joke.
that work?
Maybe
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
get
don't-
the joke.
Like there seems to be like a lot of subtext to what you guys are saying, and I am just surface level
In
for
true
this.
Ryan Wiggins fashion, we should just talk a lot about the joke.
Do you?
We could just wink at it on the way by, but no. Let's
that's-
draw a map.
Let me tell you a little behind
No,
the scenes
let's
here.
not. Keep doing your segment.
The reason we talk about jokes so much is because we have to fill up a full hour, and we don't have that many jokes.
False. You get one segment to fill. I
So-
do the rest of it.
So when we hit a joke, it's like, oh man, that was really good.
Don't you
How do
have-
we get 5 minutes out of
Don't
that?
you have 8 points?
6.
And you're on point number what?
I think that was 4.
Okay, you're halfway done.
About a minute.
Yes. Content, buddy.
Okay,
let's
go.
go.
Let's go to the last one. I'm
Your
gonna skip.
aspirations are getting in the
I'm
way.
going to skip. Are you doing the work so that you're ready when opportunities arise?
Doing the work is all Kamala Harris is doing. Go on.
I didn't even want to ask it for that reason. Last one. Are you trying to achieve your goals, not someone else's?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the hardest one to answer on here because we work as a team, and I feel like we're all pulling toward.
Do you feel like you're trying to achieve my goals?
We're achieving
Sorry.
the show's goals.
See my answer on growth mindset.
Yeah, and therefore, I think this segment's come a long way, though.
It's
I think
not
overall,
my show. It's our show.
Been a lot of growth.
there has been a lot of growth. Like over the last year or so, it used to be like, oh, let's talk about Gen X and
Got
stuff. And no, we're talking about self-improvement a lot more now.
That's
and I
growth.
like that.
We got huge aspirations for the show, too.
Thank you. I mean, wait.
Thank you. Inapplicable.
I gotta
What
go,
else?
Wiggins
You got
America.
10 more seconds.
Oh, no, I don't. This is all yours.
Tyrus probably when we come back. Don't go away.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too. And that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More crossover support on the campaign trail. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris just telling reporters she's picked up endorsements from former Republican Congressman Fred Upton and the Republican mayor of Waukesha, Wisconsin, as she heads to Georgia to rally with former President Obama and Bruce Springsteen.
I think it just shows the breadth and depth of the support that we have and also the enthusiasm that a lot of people are bringing to the campaign and feel about our campaign.
Taking questions a short time ago, Harris would not say whether she'd continue border wall construction.
I will tell you that my highest priority is to put the resources into ensuring that our border is secure, which is why I've been very clear. I'm going to bring back up as president that bipartisan border security bill.
That bill does include wall funding. Harris says former President Trump wants to run on the problem instead of solving it. Trump calls Harris unfit to serve. He rallies later today in Arizona and Las Vegas. As part of a legal settlement with news organizations, 911 calls are released from the assassination attempt at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Butler County releasing 15 calls that were made that day. Officials tell Fox that the first one came in at 6:12 p.m. and others continued for more than 30 minutes.
Gunshots at the Trump rally.
Yep,
Gunshots.
the police are on the way.
Well, you better get over here quick.
This female just passed out.
Yeah, they just tried to kill President Trump. You might want to make a note of that.
So a bipartisan House task force investigating the assassination attempt released an interim report this week calling the shooting preventable and noting a lack of planning and coordination between the Secret Service and local law enforcement.
Fox's CB Cotton, multiple reviews of the security planning and response continue, and the Secret Service has said changes are already underway. America is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All about sunshine and temperatures slightly above average. 74 for the high. Feels pretty good out there. Tonight, some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. 59 for a warm overnight low. Warm for October. Friday, some scattered morning showers. Otherwise, sunny skies return. 78. The weekend's fantastic. Sunny and cooler. 66 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back 60 years, when a diamond cutter became well known for his exceptional craftsmanship. His diamond cutting business flourished for decades. Then his sons got involved and started selling these exceptional diamonds to upscale jewelry stores here in America. After a few years, these wholesalers decided to change the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices they had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success, and Diamonds Direct was born. Today, Diamonds Direct provides that extraordinary value to people all over America, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best prices, period. Diamonds Direct, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history, rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This could be your final opportunity to secure the carefree villa home of your dreams at the Preserve in Afton, free from the hassles of lawn care, landscaping, and snow removal. With prices starting in the 400s, we will build to order or select from one of our 6 move-in ready designer market homes and save thousands, and also receive $10,000 cash to close from the skilled craftsmen of the Mid-America Carpenters Union for closing costs or bite on your interest rate. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
What's your comment on the Russian disinformation campaign?
I got nothing to say on misinformation, but it's very clear that Putin wants Donald Trump to win. Donald Trump wants Putin to win, and so that's all I would say.
Well, it's kind of hard to understand there, but Tim Walz is saying that it's very clear that Putin wants Donald Trump to win. I'm not even sure it's very clear that Kamala Harris wants to win, but Tim Walz is there confirming that Putin is on the side of Donald Trump. Didn't Putin endorse Kamala Harris?
Yeah, Putin definitely endorsed Kamala Harris, and he had no other motives. He's always pretty straight shooter.
Putin's like, gosh, what would be the best for American democracy? That's not the question he's asking himself when he's making endorsements.
Yeah. When Putin speaks, you know that he's got America's best interests in mind, no matter what. Don't clip that. That was sarcasm.
We'll leave that part off.
Okay.
The YouTube live chat poll for today is: do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Find our live broadcast that's going on right now while we're live on the air on 97.1 FM Talk, and you can vote in the live chat portion of the live broadcast. Do you fear violence after the election? It's weird how much people are joking about it. You hear the phrase civil war a lot, don't you?
Yeah. There's clearly an undercurrent of actual anxiety about this. Like, people are joking about it because they know, well, they hope, and this is why you see the phrase, man, I hope it's a blowout one way or another. because if it's close and people have questions, people are going to get pretty ticked off one way or another. I'm not blaming either side there. If it's close, people are going to have questions. And hopefully that doesn't devolve into total chaos. But we saw it we've seen it every election recently. Mm-hmm. It wasn't people like, oh, in 2020. Man, 2016 was a mess in Washington, D.C.
One of the most iconic photos of 2016 was that dude in that long suit coat holding a fire extinguisher after putting out a fire. He had that. He had a MAGA hat on, and he's like in the middle of the street with this burning pile of garbage that he just put out, looking around like, what are you guys doing? I mean, they boarded up downtown D.C. because they knew there would be riots.
You think if it's not close that it won't happen?
I think it'll be harder for people to, I think the motivation won't be there as much because it'll look a little bit more like a mandate.
Do you think that it's more likely that there's violence if one person wins or the other?
No. Actually, in some senses, I think it's more likely that you have little pockets of violence pop up if Donald Trump wins. Let
me interject here real quick. What is violence?
It's destruction of property.
Riots.
It's riots. It's destruction of. It's violence against people. I mean, it's really just destruction of whatever.
Mm. Well, I think the people we've asked this question on the poll a little bit earlier this week, but like, do you trust the results of the election? And people don't. So if it's funny how it's like a right-wing thing right now to not trust, like it's labeled in the media as a right-wing thing to not trust elections. Hillary Clinton believes she won the election. Stacey Abrams never conceded her loss in Georgia. There are plenty of pieces of evidence, I mean, really with every presidential election, where questions remain past the certification of results and an inauguration, where it's like, well, that election, there was fraud, there was funny business that took place. Like the idea that Americans don't, on the whole, trust the outcome of elections, and now it's very much so a both sides thing that we've watched Hillary Clinton say over and over and over again, her book, What Happened, and then she explained all the reasons why she lost the election. She thinks it was stolen from her. I mean, she still talks about it. We've heard Donald Trump say quite a bit that he thinks the election was stolen as well. Our YouTube poll for today is, do you fear violence after the election? That stems from people feeling like they had something that was stolen from them. And that's where I think where we are right now. I think a lot of people have a lot of lack of faith. Let's get to our guest. Tyrus is with us, a regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor.
Like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. First time we've been able to speak to you since you interviewed the former president of the United States and hopefully the next president of the United States, Donald Trump. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about that interview. We've seen it. It's been out there. You asked great questions. You told a side of the story of Donald Trump that nobody else is telling right now, which is the genuine goodness of that man. What were your thoughts on the opportunity you had to interview Donald Trump?
I was surprised by it. When he said he'd give me an interview, I was shocked. You don't think in your life that any president that I'm not a journalist. I don't pretend to be one. So to sit down with the president was pretty cool. I think it's something that many years from now I'll look back on and be like, wow, man, I sat and broke. I was the president. Not only that, some of my ideas were so good they made the news. So I guess for wrestlers or athletes everywhere that were always, big dumb athletes or whatever, not that dumb. He was tough. He didn't really want to talk about what I wanted to talk about. He had no list of my questions because I don't have questions. I said I just kind of have an outline. And it was difficult for him to talk about the positive things he's done. There's a reluctance there, and a respectful reluctance. But given the situation where someone needs to speak on some of these things, because, if you're going to call somebody Hitler, and history and it's all there to see that that's really the patheticness of the other side's campaign, is that all they have at this point is fear-mongering by calling one of the worst human beings to ever set foot on this earth. There has never been anything close to him. And to just say that is just, it's malpractice and it should be considered against community standards of anywhere, but apparently it's not.
I find it interesting how much we hear from the Biden-Harris administration about how they want to police what people get to say and when they get to say them. And they talk about consequences for the actions of saying things that are dis or misinformation. But watching the Harris-Walz campaign right now, man, they're lobbing some very, very nasty things in the waning hours of this campaign towards Donald Trump. What does that indicate to you when you see these unfounded allegations about Donald Trump coming from this campaign?
They're losing horribly. This election's not close, and here's the deal: this is the week where you are making your final presentation. This is where you put on your best suit, get your hair cut, get your nails done, whatever your hair did, whatever it is you got to do to put your best foot forward to the American people. Like, I'm ready to lead. I'm ready to step in and get to work. And when you have one candidate saying, this is what my plan, this is what I'm going to do, et cetera, and then the other side is going, well, I kind of don't like to answer because I like to research things, and I'm kind of a nerd and like laughing and no one else is laughing. And it's like, maybe that's a great job for something else, but to be the president of the United States, nobody wants to hear, well, I'm going to research and study on what Putin just said and did, and then I'll get back to you once I figure it out. I don't think that's the message the American people want from leadership. The fact that you're not informed, being the president of the United States, you should be informed. Being the fact that you've been working in the office and apparently are the last one in the room, and but yet you have no answers for stuff that you should have been home runs for you.
Yeah.
In your administration. So I think we're seeing what it goes, and if your campaign all they have is to talk and try to attack the other with baseless claims, shows that your campaign's in shambles, and because you should really be talking about all the exciting things you're getting ready to do. And honestly, since you're in the job right now, you could start them now.
Right.
So
what are you waiting for?
Literally could be like, we're already getting started in this one. I'm implementing this one and that one. But the only thing that they've offered to do is apparently for us brothers to make weed free. So, which was a complete smack in the face, and if that's not identity politics, I don't know what is, and that's the last thing any brother, white man, Hispanic man wants to hear about. We'll work on getting you guys free weed and free money. We don't want any of those things. I don't think any American man wants a handout, maybe a hand up, an opportunity, directions to open the door, but we'll open the door, and when we get there, we'll build it. So I think that's just a disconnect. They think they're still trying to sell free lunches to the American people, and we know there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Tyrus, I feel like we've been having conversations almost weekly for 6 years now. I feel like your opinion of Donald Trump has evolved with time, but I think that that's the story of many, many, many American voters, that the way that they have consumed Donald Trump over this period of time, that there are things that people understand more about Donald Trump, or there are things that people have just come to appreciate or not be so bothered by with Donald Trump. Speaking to your evolution,
I don't think it's that. I think it's you keep telling us it's the boy who cried wolf. It's that same story. You told us this guy was worse than Hitler. You said that, and we all got caught up in it. And I was like, well, and for me, I didn't know the man, so I formed a lot of my opinions based off what I learned from the media, and the media did a really good job of painting a picture of this and Hillary and them, they did all that. They did their due diligence, and the American people still weren't swayed. Now you're running the same. This is the same movie. We've seen it over, and it's not a movie you need to see again. It's not that kind of movie. Like we all get it, and we see it now. And there's no substance behind the stuff they're talking about. So when you want to say somebody's Hitler, my argument is you need to be able to prove that in some way, shape, or form. And we're just not. The American people aren't seeing that anymore. We're no longer falling for it, and that for them is difficult. And they don't know how to run on anything else other than trying to say he's Hitler. And it's just the most ridiculous, outlandish, and inappropriate thing. Not to mention the fact the type of violence it spews from our less than sophisticated American citizens who believe the stuff that they hear is true and they think that they're martyrs trying to assassinate the president, because when you have the White House saying that he is a danger to democracy and all these things, it's pathetic, but we see through it all. It doesn't work anymore. Now, it's always going to work on media, on their TV shows, when they have all the people that are so offended and so hurt. But the average American is not falling for this stuff anymore. And I think we're seeing the panic, and I think it's too late. I don't think this election is close. I think media wants us to think that, so we tune in, but I don't think it's close. There's just no way. The town hall for CNN should have been a layup for her. She had the questions ahead of time and still couldn't, even all the friendly ones, like she knows what they're talking about and still completely unprepared. And I think that's the biggest. Donald Trump isn't the issue for them. They chose to insert somebody who was not qualified because they were running the country on their own with Joe Biden, who didn't have the cognitive skills to stand up for himself, and they were trying to get 4 more years out of it. And Kamala looks like was the perfect candidate for them. She was going to do exactly what they said they were going to do, and she looks unprepared and incompetent. I guess they're fine with that because their idea is, well, even though she's unprepared and incompetent, she's not Donald Trump, and that's their campaign message. And I don't think that hits.
Yeah. Tyrus, last question before we let you go. This is what we're asking our audience today on our YouTube poll. Do you fear violence after the election is concluded? Unfortunately, I don't see violence if in the and again, I really feel that this is not a close election. I think President Trump wins in a landslide, but I do think the same groups that when they don't get their way, burn and attack, and we'll probably will see some of that. I hope not. I hope, but if President Trump were to lose, I don't think you would see anything from the right other than a lot of "you got to be kidding me." Yeah.
But the violent side is the other side, and usually by people who don't vote and they're just there just to try to tear up cities because they have nothing invested, and that typically we've been seeing that typically on the side of the left. I hope everyone can accept the election and move on from it, but that doesn't mean they will.
Well, Tyrus, we appreciate you. We've got hopefully one more conversation with you before it's election day, and so we will have so much to talk about next time. And then, of course, hopefully the results are the way you've been calling them. You say it's not close, and I pray that you're correct on that, Tyrus. Thanks for being with us today. We always love having you.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Well, take care. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Tyrus is a Fox News contributor, regular on Gutfeld, and his book is out right now. It's a great read. Enough said. Check it out and share with Tyrus on X at Planet Tyrus. And tell him that you love hearing him here on the Andy Fry Show. He's been with us for a very, very long time. I think he's my longest weekly standing guest. Probably him and Hans von Spakovsky. All right, a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Steve Cortes. We're excited to speak with him. He's worked with Donald Trump. He's a former Trump campaign operative. He is the founder of League of American Workers. You can go to amworkers.com to learn more about that. Steve Cortes joins the Andy Fry Show next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. You're just a phone call away from making your monthly payment, the probably biggest monthly payment you're making, more affordable for you. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. When you reach out to Stewie directly, you're going to be able to have that conversation with him about the mortgage that you're going to soon acquire when you buy that house, when you finally sign on the dotted line. A reminder that when it comes to the financing for that, the acquiring of your loan, when you're working with a realtor, they're often going to have a place that they recommend that you go. Consider Stewie in addition to whomever is recommended to you and see how he can beat that deal. with the bagel loan, and only with the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, you're going to be able to get that mortgage with zero closing costs. This is money in your pocket that does not leave. It does not have to go away and come back. No closing costs. The closing costs don't get rolled into the loan, so it's not like you just don't have to pay them now. They're not there. 314-324-4440. Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 and save with no closing costs in the bagel loan. Google bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for this winter. It's really great idea to have it done for your own peace of mind and for your safety also. Definitely check your furnace before you use it. You can go to my website. It's bartinman.com, and we'll have pictures up of what we've seen and what we've seen and found that the homeowners had no clue that this danger existed. Most have no idea what I'm talking about now, but if you went to the website, if you're not going to have me come out or another company come out and check, then you'll know what to look for on your furnace and hot water heater also. So my number, again, it's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma. Outdoor Living Redefined. Brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thursday afternoon, there's another town outside of Springfield, Ohio, this time in Indiana, that's been overrun by migrant Haitians. We'll explain. It all starts at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
As anyone knows who hosts parties and gatherings, no matter how inviting the rest of the house may be, the people always end up in the kitchen. Kitchens form the true hearth of most American homes, the place where families and friends convene to share not just nourishment, but laughter, even tears, and camaraderie. But today, in 2024 America, kitchens have become a place of anxiety and stress. Why?
Well, that's Steve Cortes speaking on a documentary that you can see on his X account. I also just retweeted it from mine at Annie Fry Show, and we're very grateful to have Steve Cortes on with us right now. He is the founder of League of American Workers, amworkers.com. He's also a former Trump campaign operative. Steve, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here. There you go.
Spreading the word about my documentary.
I'm sorry I didn't have you up there on the beginning of that comment there after I welcomed you on. So thanks again.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me, and thanks for spreading the word about my documentary on grocery prices and pain at the grocery store.
I think that it seems like there's all of this conversation around this election, and then at the end of the conversation, it's like, who's going to help you with your grocery bill? It's kind of like at the end of the day, the thing that really, really supersedes all of the other stuff where you have billions of dollars being paid to distract you from that. Why did you decide to put this documentary together to focus on the issue of affordability of groceries for everyday Americans?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, Annie, is that, of course, corporate media just ignores this issue because I think they realize how potent it is, right? This literal kitchen table reality, not just metaphorical, but kitchen table reality that American families are facing, where just paying for the staples of life, not the luxuries, the staples of life, has become a source of tremendous anxiety. So that's one reason, is I wanted to give a platform to this incredibly important issue. But then the other reason, to your point, is, and this is why sequentially I actually did 6 similar documentaries. The reason I chose to hold this one for last is I believe it's the most compelling argument for particularly for people who maybe aren't terribly political or terribly ideological. In other words, most people who are highly into politics, probably most of your audience, long ago decided who they're going to vote for. Yep. And the same on the political left, right? People, let's say, for whom abortion is their number 1, 2, and 3 issue, they long ago decided who they're going to vote for. As a matter of fact, those folks, whether on the right or the left, have probably already voted. It's not just decided, but cast their vote. However, for a lot of people who aren't intensely political, pocketbook issues tend to be the number 1 driver. And so that's why I think whatever they think of Donald Trump, whatever they think of Kamala Harris, if they're people who may not call themselves MAGA, may not ever, describe themselves as America first, but they are experiencing this literal pain, this financial pain at the grocery store, and the anxiety of feeding their families. I believe this is the most compelling closing argument to get them to say, you know what, I may not love Trump. I may not know that much about Kamala Harris. However, things have to change because the status quo is simply not okay. It's not affordable. It's not right in a country that should be a place of plenty and lately has become a place of angst, of economic angst.
Steve Cortes with us right now, talking about especially this important economic issue that faces American voters right now as we are going to the polls in Missouri and Illinois both. Early voting is open. You're encouraged to go early and get that done, get it taken care of. When I listen to Kamala Harris talk about groceries, she talks about price gouging. She puts it on the big scary corporations and says that they need to get in line. What do you say to the people? What do you say to people who agree with her and say, it's not Kamala Harris's or Joe Biden's fault that this is happening? It's big business.
Yeah, no, listen, it is 100% Kamala, and I'm no fan of big business, by the way, but it's 100% Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's fault, along with their other cronies like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and some establishment Republicans who allowed them to borrow and spend at absolutely exorbitant levels, forcing up inflation for everything. It's, of course, not just food. People know this. Everything in their lives has gotten more important. So the difference with food is, of course, you don't have a choice whether or not to eat. But let's just take the example of energy. Energy prices are incredibly important to food, not just because food needs to be transported, okay? It doesn't get there by magic, but also to grow food. Fertilizers are largely petroleum-based. But that's also part of what motivated me, Annie, to do this documentary is I profile a farmer, a grocer, and then a very concerned mom. So I sort of went along the food chain, from producing the food to selling it to consuming it, and showed that at all those levels, there's no price gouging going on. The farmer's being squeezed, the grocer's being squeezed, and certainly the consumer is having a super hard time. So she completely misses the mark. She's making up a ridiculous propaganda excuse. It's not about price gouging. It is about the inflationary policies of Bidenomics, which she fully owns. It's about Kamala Harris's record of punishing working class people during her entire tenure in office and then trying to pretend that she's a new way forward. No, she's the status quo. And when it comes to food prices, the status quo is punishing. And Americans know that. And I believe, again, I would encourage folks in your audience, again, many of whom are probably already convinced, probably already voted for Trump or even have voted for Trump. But for the people in their lives who are persuadable or who are leaning to vote but may not vote, I believe this is the most compelling argument you can use to get them motivated, to get them off the couch, to get them to the polls, and hopefully to the polls early. That would be my other exhortation for the patriots out there.
The website is amworkers.com, and Steve Cortes is the League of American Workers founder. You're also a former Trump campaign operative, and I'm thinking right now about, just to your point, and knowing our audience right here, we have motivated people. If you're listening, you know who you're voting for, and you probably have casted your vote or got a plan to do so. Do you think that there are people out there right now who don't know if they're going to vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, or is the persuasion right now, if you can't stomach the other, you do need to show up and vote for Donald Trump? Right. And this is why. Talk to me about Donald Trump's ability to get these grocery prices back down, to focus on the middle class worker, the mom, the family that's trying to not just make it, we're trying to thrive. Does Donald Trump put us in the position to do that?
Yeah, listen, I believe he absolutely does. And that's why, again, I think you can convince voters who wouldn't consider themselves to be MAGA, maybe have problems with Trump and some of his style, but their life was far better when Trump was in office, and they're willing to admit that if they're being honest with themselves. A lot of those people who are perhaps on the fence or just leaning Trump's way, they can be motivated in these final days. I'll tell you this actually surprised me. I do a lot of polling. Just polled the state of Georgia, where I show Trump up 1, so a tight race, but leaning Trump's way. I believe he's going to win Georgia. But I was surprised by this, Annie. 17% of Georgians said they are persuadable at this point. They either just purely haven't decided or they're only leaning. So, I mean, that's a big percentage in a swing state like that who say that they can still be persuaded. I took this poll just a few days ago. I'm polling Pennsylvania right now for my last poll. We'll see what kind of number I get on that same metric there. But look, I think there are people who will make that decision who maybe don't love the two choices. Again, I'm not in this camp. I'm enthusiastically behind Donald Trump, and I want to return to that prosperity, to a secure border and the prosperity that we had under Donald Trump. But for people in your life who maybe aren't enthusiastic but can be persuaded, again, I believe that focusing on those kitchen table realities, focusing on what was your life like when Trump was president. When we ask that question as well, that key better off question, in all of the battleground states, consistently we're getting a 2-to-1 margin in favor of Trump. It's almost always 60-30 with about 10% unknown, but 60% saying my life was better when Trump was president. I was better off. 30% saying they're better off with Kamala Harris, who tend to be super hardcore Democrats who we just can't win over no matter what. So I think focusing on those issues is the most effective way into this final week. If I would add one caveat to that, it would also be that Kamala Harris is simply untrustworthy. Most Americans don't know still that much about her because this campaign has been so abbreviated, right, because of what the Democrats pulled off, because of the palace coup that they pulled off. So a lot of people, if you're not really into politics, You don't know that much about Kamala Harris, but what I think people can discern rather quickly is that she's not genuine, that there's a total inauthenticity to her. And even for critics of Donald Trump, I think they have to admit this is one authentic man, sometimes to a fault, but he is one authentic guy who doesn't speak in a lawyerly and scripted manner. The opposite with her. I think her inauthenticity is part of what's driving this race toward Trump in these final yards, if you will, if we're going to score the touchdown.
Steve Cortes speaking with us right now. Since I have you on with me, and I definitely want to encourage people to go to X. You can go at Annie Fry Show. If you already follow me, and you can see I've retweeted this video. You need to go watch this documentary and consider sharing it as a persuadable tool, just something for people to consider if they are in that undecided camp. But you've worked with Donald Trump. You've campaigned with Donald Trump. You were former Trump campaign operative. And you're seeing a lot of these bottom of the ninth inning reports that are coming out, the Kelly reports about Donald Trump once generals like Hitler, and now we're getting the fascist accusations once again. It is one of the most repeated lines that I get in our community here on this show through social media reactions. And they're all talking about all of the people who worked with Donald Trump in the first administration early on. They've all turned their back on Donald Trump, and they really put a lot of credibility into these individuals who are now coming out and saying, that Trump loves Hitler. That's what they're actually saying right now. You've been in this community. What do you know about Donald Trump then? What do you know about the people who are out speaking in this way about then Donald Trump and Donald Trump now the candidate in 2024?
Well, Annie, I'm so glad you asked me about this because I really believe it. I don't say this in a haughty way, but I think I'm a perfect person to answer this because I opposed Donald Trump in the primary in 2023. I went to work for Ron DeSantis. So nobody can accuse me of just being blindly loyal to Trump as much as I admire him, okay? But so I think I have some credibility on this issue. And let me tell you, as someone who's been with Donald Trump a lot in private, in the Oval Office without cameras, as well as, in the public realm, the Trump off camera is the exact same authentic Trump that you see on camera. He is not a different person. And these accusations are ludicrous. John Kelly is somebody who I used to have a lot of respect for. He and I worked a lot on immigration issues, especially when he was chief of staff. I certainly honor his military service, but this just does not in any sense pass the smell test. The fact that he claims he has had this knowledge for 5 years now and 2 weeks before the election conveniently decides that he's going to spill the tea on Donald Trump just makes no sense. It's not credible in the least. And to this Hitler accusation, by the way, I think it's important for people to have context. Especially, listen, I'm a middle-aged guy, especially for younger people. Please realize that the Democrats have done this to Republicans, called them Hitler, for decades in this country, including some of the most moderate milquetoast Republicans you could think of. People like Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney, believe it or not, were accused of being fascist and being Hitler. So this is just a tired default of the left when they're out of arguments is call us racist, call us bigots, call us Hitler. It's ludicrous. It's offensive. But if we do take any pleasure in it, it's wrong that it happens in this country. But if there's any silver lining to that cloud, it is that it shows their desperation. I really, truly believe that. But regarding these turncoats, I don't believe any of them. And again, I say this as somebody who worked hard for Donald Trump, who briefly tried to take him on in the primary with Ron DeSantis. Of course, didn't work. I'm now back working to get Trump elected again. But I hope I have some authority on, and some credibility on that issue, given my own personal background.
You completely do, especially certainly with me. Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Steve Cortes. Why were these individuals so willing to work in the Trump administration and to work with Donald Trump then? And now why are they so opposed or afraid of him reaching the Oval Office once again?
Yeah, that's the other issue that's so important. If they had any honor or integrity, and if these events actually happened as described, they had an obligation to the American people to leave immediately, right, to quit, and to divulge to the American people what they supposedly knew. And this is true of a number of these turncoat folks, many of whom have now found cushy gigs, giving lucrative speeches or lucrative gigs on cable news as contributors. If the stories they tell are true, then they had an obligation to reveal them as soon as possible. And why would they possibly continue to work for a president if they thought that poorly of him? So I think, unfortunately, it's Washington intrigue at its absolute worst. Didn't expect to see it from General Kelly. It's a shame that we have, but again, it does not. I think any reasonable person will say this does not pass the credibility test that you would hold on to this information and release it in October before election season. And I will tell you from my own experience with Donald Trump, nothing of the kind ever. I mean, nothing ever was objectionable said around me from him. In fact, quite the opposite, particularly when it comes to the military. This is a man who loves the American military. And I would also add, because that other ludicrous story about him, supposedly disparaging a dead Mexican soldier, nothing but respect for Hispanic Americans, because it's something we talked about quite a lot. And that's true on camera as well as away from the microphones.
Just to make sure I understood you clearly there, are you saying that it's profitable and lucrative for these people to accuse Donald Trump of these things?
Quite, unfortunately, yes.
I think we've followed the money, haven't we?
Yep.
Well, you know what, Steve Cortes, you've worked with Donald Trump in the same capacity that these leftists love to see ex-Trump campaign or Trump administration workers. They put all the stock in the world in what they have to say, so I'd imagine that they'd have to give you the same faith and confidence as well. I certainly do on this show, Steve. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on with us once again.
Thank you, Annie. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you again. We appreciate you. Steve Cortes, he is, we did interview him when he was working for the DeSantis campaign. If you've listened to the show for any time, you know I'm a huge Ron DeSantis fan. And it was never difficult for me to support Ron DeSantis without not supporting Donald Trump. It's an easy thing to do. There's no litmus test here. Kamala Harris wants to continue to destroy our country with far left progressive ideals. She doesn't love the America that I love. She wants it to be something differently, and she's picking up the mantle of she's picking up the mantle of Barack Obama, who promised and delivered in 2008 to fundamentally transform the United States of America. He started it, and he's working to continue it. I'm not even sure it's finishing it, because I don't know how long he can go. And if we, rely on what we've heard people say, as we do so desperately when we watch the left-wing agenda-driven media rely on something that Donald Trump said in 1972 on a sunny Sunday afternoon, it's like, oh, we heard him say this. Witnesses say. We have seen with our own eyes Barack Obama sit down with reputable, at the time at least, network reporters and talk about how his ideal third term would be where he gets to call the shots with a front man. And now we're looking for a front woman. The fundamental transformation of the United States continues with Kamala Harris. Or you can choose to make America great once again and head it back in the correct direction. You can vote for Donald Trump. Very interesting conversation with Steve Cortes, who worked very closely with Donald Trump and continues to work to get him elected. And going back to that documentary that you can see at Annie Fry Show on Twitter, or just go directly to Steve Cortes's X account at Cortes Steve. That's Cortes with an S. You can see that documentary, watch it. It's 18 quick minutes, and maybe use it to influence somebody who might be a little bit on the fence. It's just good sense to think about your grocery bill and how you can save. Let's take a quick break. Get Ryan Wiggins back in studio next. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being confident? It's time to get
the Retirement Advisory Group. You'll find them online at retirementkey.com. You're planning for the transition period. That's where Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw come in, and they guide you through that moment in time. There are a lot of things that go into retirement. There are a lot of years that go into saving retirement. But once it's the time where you're at right now, where you get to that age where, hey, it's like right around the corner, or maybe you're in the mindset of, I'm ready to retire. I don't hate my job, making the best money I've ever made, but I want to be able to go to work thinking to myself, I'm done here. And then you put in your notice and you're done. You got to know that retirement is going to be there for you, that you've made the moves that you need to make in order to feel secure and confident in that decision. The worry-free retirement of your dreams starts with a phone call to Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Call them and ask them to set up a free appointment. You can leave with no obligation whatsoever and talk to the people at the Retirement Advisory Group about your retirement. RetirementKey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Today's Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll. Do you fear violence after the election? It's a yes or no. Let us know what you think by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube, and today's date will come up. You can watch the live stream and vote there. 151 this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So denied, so I lied. Are you the now or never kind? In a day and a day, love, I'm gonna be gone for good again.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, do you fear violence after the election? Did I ask both of you this yet? Did I?
Well, we talked about it. I don't know that we
didn't,
gave our
answered
answer.
it. Brad, what do you think? Do you fear violence after the election, yes or no?
Yeah, my question is just to what extent. I don't know what extent it would be. I think that if it's a blowout, there will be some violence. I think there will be some wailing and some gnashing of teeth.
I think we need to define when we say yes or no, too, what qualifies as violence. Like murder in the streets, or is it
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm not murder, but chaos in the streets. Police have to be called out in riot gear, that sort of thing, or a situation where police ought to be called out in riot gear. I think that there's going to be pockets of that, no matter the outcome, blowout or not blowout. I think that the problem comes is when it's really close, and if anything just doesn't pass the smell test to most people, I think that we're going to see right or left. I think you'll see chaos in the streets.
So you're a yes?
I'm a yes, yeah.
I'm a yes, too. I don't know that I fear it personally. I fear it for the country that we would see violence. And I would define violence the same way that Brad just did, that you have riots or even just little pockets of people just showing up and causing chaos. That's the thing, too, is that regardless of who wins and who is committing violence, it's a pretty small fringe group of people, no matter which side.
On Twitter, I think it was, I want to give credit where credit is due on this, but on Twitter, someone said that they fear manufactured violence.
That is a good point.
And I thought that is a wrinkle that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Somebody putting bricks out on the streets of St. Louis. We didn't even realize we set these bricks here. We meant to pick them up tomorrow. It was just a miscommunication. They're all over the place for some reason. Yeah, that kind of stuff, that is a huge problem, that there's somebody out there funding this stuff. And there's, again, a fringe group of people who will say, yeah, I'll be a part of that.
I don't know. This is not a challenge, but I don't know if the left is going to have it in them if Trump wins. I don't think that I'm going to say no. I don't fear it. Not in any sort of widespread takes over coverage. We've seen it. We're here in St. Louis. Ferguson is ours. We kind of started it, I feel like, with the Ferguson riots. You want to talk about misinformation and disinformation that is used to manufacture violence. It's like the book was written on it here. The reason why I say that, though, is because I feel like the energy that existed in 2020 to subsidize financially and through not support, but the very willful, you just turned a blind eye to it. I think that America is freaking done with that. I think on the whole, I don't think there's law enforcement in this country right now that's going to sit by and watch their cities burn anymore. I think we're past it. And if Donald Trump is coming into office and people want to do that, I think there will be a literally different sheriff in town that will be able to say, we don't stand for this. If you have an attorney general that says that we're not going to allow people to just burn our cities. In Baltimore, they created space to destroy for people. I think that we have, if Donald Trump wins, that there will be a mandate to say, knock this crap off and do it yesterday. I hope. And I actually think that we have a completely different social climate for allowing that stuff to fester. It depends on how much manufactured nature there is of it. But I'm also asking myself, what do they have to gain over it?
Well, the proof for what you're saying is that basically every leftist mayor, governor, even the presidential candidate for the United States right now have backpedaled on these things. And hopefully that's enough to keep them from being opportunists to say, who cares now? Let's just do it.
Let us know what you think on the Annie Fry YouTube live broadcast in the live chat. Do you fear violence after the election? We'll be right back.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
The Diamond Shop is celebrating spooky season with Blackstone Jewelry. 50% off for the rest of the month when you visit the Diamond Shop. A beautiful Blackstone piece of jewelry you're going to get for half off. That's amazing. Right now, they also have, throughout the course of all of October, 50% off all diamond studs. When you need a jewelry purchase to take place, when you want to have something looked at, potentially fixed, or if you have a family heirloom or a piece of jewelry that you had before, I don't know, maybe it's a wedding ring that you don't really need to wear anymore, but you want to turn it into something else. You go to the Diamond Shop, Tom and the wonderful people at the Diamond Shop, they're going to give you ideas and creativity to turn that into something else, to give it new life, and to make it valuable to you once again. Go to the Diamond Shop online and see the different sales that they have available for you. Remember, 6 months, same as cash financing, so get those Christmas shopping items done, even Valentine's Day. TheDiamondShop.net.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
12 days to Election Day, the border wall is back. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The issue being raised again as Vice President Kamala Harris sidesteps questions on supporting border wall construction, telling reporters she'll strive for practical solutions.
The vice president says former President Trump has stood in the way of bipartisan solutions to the migrant crisis at the southern border.
We have the tools at hand, but we have on the other side of this election Donald Trump, who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Harris says she's committed to a Senate compromise that failed earlier this year. That legislation includes $650 million for border wall funding. During the Trump administration, Harris called a wall stupid and useless.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Harris rallies later today in Georgia with former President Obama and Bruce Springsteen. 2 Trump rallies today in Arizona and Nevada as the former president continues to argue a Harris administration would be a disaster for the country. After more than 30 years in prison, Eric and Lyle Menendez will find out a prosecutor's decision today on possible resentencing. They're serving life for shooting their parents in 1989.
Prosecutors argued at the time that they were after the parents' multi-million-dollar estate. But the brothers' legal team say the two, ages 18 and 21 at the time, acted in self-defense after years of emotional and physical abuse by their parents, including sexual molestation by their father over several years.
Fox's William Lachaness, a newly recovered letter corroborating their story.
It's a letter that Eric wrote to his cousin a year prior to the murder, saying, quote, "I have been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening. But it's worse for me now. I never know when it's going to happen, and it's driving me crazy. Every night, I stay up thinking he might come in."
Family members have now publicly called for their release. The LA County DA has a news conference planned next hour. America is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All about sunshine and temperatures slightly above average. 74 for the high. Feels pretty good out there. Tonight, some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. 59 for a warm overnight low. Warm for October. Friday, some scattered morning showers. Otherwise, sunny skies return. 78. The weekend's fantastic. Sunny and cooler. 66 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
Alrighty, we're getting ready to come into winter here where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
Looking for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair. And hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Did y'all watch the CNN town hall last night? I'm going to be honest. I didn't. I saw it in clips. I can't take any more of her.
Me too?
I've met my limit.
I agree. I am done watching
love
live.
Kamala Harris. You won't stop talking about how great she is.
I don't like her policies, though.
She doesn't know her policies.
I like her personally.
No, you don't.
I mean, she's really fun to listen to. She's sharp. Boom, 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 boom. But I just don't like the direction she's heading.
Harris? Kamala Harris?
Oh, Kamala Harris. You're talking about Kamala Thompson.
I'm gonna Google Kamala Thompson.
Can I tell you what? I've been sitting on a joke that I have been waiting for somebody to mention, like, oh, when you named your kids, because I really wanted to say, yeah, we named my daughter Sigourney after my favorite actress, Sigourney Thompson. I've never got to use it, though. Just sitting on it. I'll put it in my book.
Kamala Thompson is a grad student at Malloy. She's 5'9".
Yeah, she's tall. I appreciate everything that Malloy has done for my favorite Kamala Thompson. What's Malloy? Is it a school? Now I'm typing it too. Thompson Malloy.
Jeez. We're just
It's a
Googling random people.
It is. It's a university, I think.
I can't take any more Kamala Harris. Kamala Thompson's fine. I haven't really met her that much yet. I can't. Guys, I know it's a hazard of the job, but I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I don't ever want to hear her talk again.
You're not alone. The people voting for Kamala don't really like her. The polling for Kamala before she became the presidential candidate was a historic low for a VP. They don't actually like her. They just don't want Trump. That's it. Nobody wants to listen to Kamala Harris.
Pick anybody else still now. Put Joe back in there. Put him back. Put him back.
Now we're hitting on something.
Would you rather have Joe Biden be the president or Kamala Harris, who could be there for 8 years? 8 years.
I don't know. They're the same. I guess.
No, they're not.
I guess Joe Biden because of 4 years. Kamala Harris could do 8.
Maybe less.
Or, well, but then it'd be Kamala. So
No, I don't think he
would
keep
pick
her.
her.
No way. I don't think he'd keep her. I think she gone.
He's like, I'm under no obligation this time.
Well, I keep saying this. Joe Biden, you guys, it's like you don't listen to me when I say this and you act like it's some big joke. It's no joke. Not a joke. Joe Biden has only served for 4 years. He could come back and run in 2028. And I think he will. You think I'm kidding.
I literally don't think he's going to run anywhere in
It's gonna be
2028.
more of a shuffle.
Not a joke.
Joke.
Fine, it's a joke. I'll put it in my book.
Is it bad that I just, like, I didn't... I do this at night when I'm scrolling through X and I'm trying to just catch up and see what's there. I click on so many videos of Kamala Harris, and she gets 2 or 3 seconds in. I forget every time that I can't stand her voice. I'm like, I gotta hear, oh gosh, there it is again. I need a filter. Can you make them all sound like Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
I need it.
I can. I can do that.
I need a Kamala I need a Kamala Harris filter. I need to listen to what she has to say, but I just cannot listen to her. And you need to cut out the breaks and the uhs and the repeats. I can't do it any longer. And then she's going to win the election, and then I'm going to end up having to do it for 4 years.
I don't think
or
you'll
until
make
I get
it.
fired.
Yeah, you will not have this job that long.
No,
you
probably
can't
not.
do it.
Our overlords.
Well, no, I think you just personally couldn't do it for 4 years.
No.
Not with her.
I'll just give you day-by-day updates of like what Molly's doing today. Today we watched The Lion Guard. And then the next day, today we watched The Lion Guard. And today we watched The Lion Guard. Every day. That's just what I'm going to say. Over and over and over. Why is it The Lion Guard? Why is that the one she picked? You watch it in your house?
No.
Do you want to? Let's trade.
Not really.
What are your kids watching?
It's almost too cute that my 10-year-old, we 2 vacations in a row, 2 weekend trips, not vacations, where one of them, a 7-year-old, downloaded a bunch of stuff on an iPad. Well, we didn't have time that week to re-download things. So I just took the same iPad for my 10-year-old, who should be watching a little bit more sophisticated things.
Nah.
And I,
That's the
and I
beauty
said,
of being
look,
10.
your 7-year-old brother, whatever he downloaded, that's what we got on there. So they're really into Dude Perfect. I will say that. But he also looked at that thing and goes, oh, he downloaded the Apple Dumpling Gang. I love that movie. I'm like, cherish it. The Apple Dumpling Gang. That's a good boy.
We have two things on in our house. Fox News and the Lion Guard. We just go back and forth. And we turn the one on when we can't stand any more of the other. And it goes back and forth all day.
It sounds like somebody's grandpa's house who watches the kids.
Yeah. Turn this crap off.
Put it back on the 5.
Put Bill Hemmer back on the screen. I don't even know what the Lion Guard is about.
Here we go with the Lion Guard.
Is the Lion
I'm gonna
Guard
go out and do the yard.
Simba's kid? Is Kion? I think that's a cop-out. Kion is just one letter away from lion.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
You couldn't have come up with something else?
Kion. It's also a couple letters away from Chiron that they run on Fox News.
Well, that's the CH.
Couple letters away, like I said.
Why? Basically, there's an Owen in it.
You know, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I don't know if this is like inside baseball too much, but what happens if she wins? I think we're in our heads bracing for, okay, yes, we think Trump's probably got this, but we don't really know, obviously. But he looks like he's doing pretty well. But if Kamala Harris wins this election, what does this nation become? I mean, wars don't end. I don't see an end to any of these wars if she becomes president. The economy isn't going to improve.
Hey, if you want to wreck the segment, you're going to need 6 more minutes of pontificating on the worst possible outcome. Go on.
I'm not trying to wreck the segment.
You know what everybody just did? They turned off our show and they turned on the Lion Guard.
No, they did not. No, the Lion Guard is for children. We're talking about adult subjects, like ruining the nation.
It's really not any different than what goes on in my house in the evening. My kids have like somewhat formulated political thoughts.
Do they?
Yeah.
Even the 3-year-old?
She knows who Trump is.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't talk to them about politics at all, but everybody else in their life does. And I'm not even talking like family members. People know what I do. They know where I stand. They have casual conversations with Molly about it. Like, she'll be like, is that Trump? And I'm like, yeah.
I know. I know you're 3 for my kids. I know you're 7. I want you to have a little bit deeper discourse than just clapping.
I feel like you should be able to explain the Electoral College before you're allowed to have a political opinion.
Yeah, right. Before you're... Yeah, I used to say when I was a kid...
I should teach that to Molly.
I remember this because I felt so bad. And I don't think my parents were trying to make me feel bad, but this is the first political conversation I remember having with my parents at all. I think it was one of the years that Perot was running. So it had to be 92, maybe? 92 or 96. I think he ran in both.
92 for sure.
So I'm pretty sure this would have been 92 because that would have been 10, 11. I said, because I genuinely did not know. That's how much we didn't talk about politics. I said, Mom and Dad, who are you guys?
92, because that's when Clinton won the first time.
Yeah. Mom and Dad, who are you guys rooting for?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we're not rooting for anyone. We are voting, though.
That's good for them.
I was like, oh, okay. But I felt like, oh, man, I really just messed up.
No.
I remember that. I don't know why.
Maybe it was something else you did that day.
I'm sure it was something much, much more offensive. Now let's talk about you pulling your pants down and taking a dump in the middle of the hall. You're 11 now.
What's the matter with you?
That's what they said.
What?
Yeah. Like, oh, they must not like my politics is the way I took that.
In 1988, I was in 4-year-old preschool, and they had an election at the school. Went to a good Lutheran school, Trinity Lutheran School in Edwardsville, and we were voting. And when you're in preschool and you can't really read, they just had 2 pictures up in this little booth that you'd go in. And you remember when you're 4 and you get to go into a little place and close a curtain. and you're just like in there by yourself, it's maybe the most power you've ever had. Like, I could do anything in here. Lord knows what you would do in there.
I think we all know.
Put your pants back on, Ryan. So I'm 4, and I go in there, and you were given like a piece of paper or whatever, and you were to vote by putting your piece of paper in George H.W. Bush or Dukakis, right? 1988?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of those looked like a really old guy, and one of them didn't. So I voted for Dukakis.
Did Dukakis have the eyebrows? Was that him?
Yes, dark, like maybe a salt and pepper, but a heavy.
Yeah.
But he just.
Yeah, that is him. Look at those eyebrows.
They made an impression on me.
They certainly did. Oh, there's a picture of him now.
This is eyebrows or caterpillars?
I've been spending my entire life trying to absolve myself from that mistake. I came home, 4-year-old Annie came home and was like, Mom and Dad, we had an election at school today. I think, I mean, it's a good Lutheran school, a lot of Christian conservative people there, but by no means a requirement to be conservative to go to a Lutheran school. And I think that George Bush won like 98% to probably my 2%.
Oh, in the school?
Yes. And I go home and I'm like, Mom and Dad, we had an election. And they're like, oh, really? Who'd you vote for? And I was like, I couldn't remember their names. So they showed me pictures of them from like a flyer or something. And I pointed at Dukakis. And I have a distinct memory of my dad going, oh, Annie, no. And I was like, what?
And you're 4 years old?
I was 4. Yes.
That's great.
I know this is not therapy, but I think that this has been psychologically damaging for me. So when I was 4, my dad showed shame for me voting for Dukakis. And when I was about 7 or 8, he told me I was a communist because we were working in his garden. I thought out loud to him, what if we just all shared food? And he very casually just said to me, Annie, you're a communist, and walked away. And then I couldn't Google it because at 8 we didn't Google things.
Yeah, there was no Google.
Yeah. I don't even know how many years it took me to realize that was a bad thing.
Well, it's not a bad thing. It's a nice idea. It's just that...
That's what I tried to tell my dad.
When you turn 15, you start to realize that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
At some point, you get to that maturity level and you go, dang, that would be a nice idea.
It's about the time you start working and you realize, this is really hard. Why should I have to give this to the guy over there on
Who's
the couch?
not working.
Yeah.
You know what this has told me this whole segment? One thing. You had your first political thought at 4. I had my first...
Molly's got to be prepping.
And she's 3.
She's 3. It's time.
My first was at 11.
She would vote for Trump. I hope she would vote for Trump. I'm going to show her
she
pictures
cheers
tonight.
if she sees Trump.
I don't think she boos when she sees Kamala Harris.
Well, we got some work to do.
It might be the case that she does. I don't know what people have said to her. I'm going to show her 2 pictures and be like, which one do you like more? And see what she says.
I bet she votes for the Lion Cub.
Kion.
If you...
I'm when I show her those things, though, I'm not going to make her think that she screwed up the election if she points to the wrong one. Both instances, this is how, as a parent, you work so hard to impress values and morals and establish, the strongest foundation you possibly can. And all I grew up with was fortified, established values. I'm so grateful for that, and I'm trying to do the same thing for my kids. And, one flippant comment that he would never, ever, my dad would never remember making that and didn't mean anything by it. I was like, I have a Dukakis complex.
But you learned your lesson.
Which sounds like something you could take medication for.
You never voted for Michael Dukakis again.
Never, ever. And I looked him up. He's 90. He's still with us.
Yeah, he's still there.
He could hear this.
90 years old.
Don't tell him.
He's wearing exactly what I'm going to wear at 90. A sweater.
He looks great.
And a flannel shirt. And he's just kind of smiling.
Great.
Yeah.
If he were up against a younger man, though, I wouldn't vote for him now. Looks too old. Little did I know that in 2024, that would be the main problem with the current president of the United States. Dementia. Go to break. YouTube live chat poll. Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? Annie, are you okay? With Trisha. Next, don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
'cause I don't care.
Ruler Foods helping you save in your groceries. We just talked to Steve Cortes in the 1 o'clock hour about the price of groceries. It's on everybody's minds. You have to do everything you can to shore up the price of groceries. And for our family, that has meant every time we have the opportunity to shopping at Ruler Foods. We go to the Ruler Foods in Collinsville, Illinois. We've been to the Ruler Foods in St. Charles multiple times to do the diaper drives, the food drives. I believe we're scheduling that for December. The food drive's going to be back, so get ready to come join us for that in December. But Ruler Foods is a place where you can go shop the name brands that you love and the Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices that you're going to love at lower prices. When you shop at Ruler Foods, the first time that you go in, you're going to go, wow, this is really great. I didn't really expect this. You're going to walk in and you're going to realize how accessible those savings are and how great that bottom line when you get through the checkout and you're like, oh my gosh, I can really, really tell that the savings are significant here. Also, if you go online, you can schedule a delivery and have those savings shipped right to your door. Find the Ruler Foods that's closest to you and give them a try just for me. And let me know how it goes. Next time you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to spare, just stop by Ruler Foods, go in, pick up something nice for yourself, and let me know how you liked the experience. RulerFoods.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
When Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living, as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $2,100 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere.
Where St. Louis comes to talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
If you've been walking the same old road for miles and miles, if you've been hearing the same old voice at the same old lies, If you're trying to fill the same old holes inside, there's a better life. There's a better life. If you got pain.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Trisha's back in studio with us. Hi, Trisha. How are you?
Hi, Annie.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Crew and whoever that was.
The chains are breaking.
That'd be Zach Williams.
Oh, hey, Zach Williams.
Let's try that again. Hi, Trisha. Welcome into the studio.
Hi, Annie and crew.
You got paid.
Oh, gosh, stop it. Brad, turn it down. Brad, turn it down. Is that all?
Is that?
Did you fix the problem?
I think so. Let's try it.
Buttons in real life.
Hey, fix it.
Sounds so much better now.
I'm okay with this. Trisha,
should I take it away?
Take it. I mean, like literally take it away. Elsewhere.
German pizzeria busted for selling cocaine. Turns out a number 40 at the Dusseldorf business was pizza and a side of cocaine.
My favorite part of the story.
Dusseldorf.
The pizzeria manager was...
Time out. Is Dusseldorf a funny word to German people?
I don't know.
Because it's a funny word to me.
If they don't laugh at that, I think it just shows that they have a long way to
Pretty
go.
sure they don't have a sense of humor in Germany.
That's not true.
German pizza?
It's not a laughing matter.
Is that a... Oh, I don't know.
Dusseldorf is a town.
Dusseldorf is a
city.
town?
Yeah.
So people in Dusseldorf, when they say, oh, where are you from? And you say Dusseldorf, people don't chuckle every time?
I don't know. I've never met any. But this guy was...
Dusseldorf, and everybody just kind of laughs.
Any research for this segment, Trisha? Come on.
Minimal, you know
Dusseldorf,
how I roll.
huh?
The pizza manager was detained and released, then started selling the number 40 again. He's now in custody for attempting to flee the country. Law enforcement over there said, quote, that was one of the best-selling pizzas.
So the pizza had cocaine?
They'd order a number 40, they give you a pepperoni pizza and a side of cocaine. But it was a very well-known thing.
Was it extra? Or did it just come free?
All Ryan's trying to do is flip this into an economic benefit for himself.
Was it a pretty good deal? Is what I'm asking.
I didn't go to Dusseldorf for this story either.
The Parmesan
That's how unprepared
packets?
I am.
Like, is that how
Yeah,
it was? Like,
exactly.
they served it?
My question...
Hunter Biden's favorite.
I've never been to Germany, but my only interaction with German
Just
people...
trying so hard to be professional.
I have been to the world of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. And there were many international visitors. And
Look at everybody in the room like you've got the command of the situation.
I cracked a joke I was probably 20, 23, somewhere right in there.
What time?
I don't know.
Day?
This would have been when I was in my early 20s, like I said.
That's what you just
said. So I cracked a joke to some girls next to me because I thought, hey, maybe I'll break the ice with these girls. They were all German. And they acted like I did not say anything to them.
You should have said Dusseldorf. And then we would have known the answer to my question.
You're right. That was it.
Trisha?
My question is, Annie, are you okay with Ninja Turtles?
What?
Pizza. Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. It took me a minute. I had to look at the ceiling
I had
to figure that one
dig deep
out.
for that one. I couldn't ask you about pizza.
I'm
We all
not
love
even
pizza.
joking. I think I know how Kamala Harris feels.
Like those German girls
Clip that.
at World of Coke.
You're like,
hey, Coke.
Pizza, cocaine, Parmesan cheese, Dusseldorf, Germany, Ninja Turtles. And then you're like,
Grew up in a middle class
You're like,
household.
my staff didn't prepare for this at all. How am I supposed to answer the Ninja Turtle question? How'd you not know the Ninja Turtle question was coming?
She's going to do some research, though. She's going to study, and she's going to figure out the answer.
Yeah,
She's
I
gonna
am.
do the work.
I'll be right back. No, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Ninja Turtles, love them. And I think that my favorite Ninja Turtle was probably Raphael. Isn't he the coolest one?
He was the red.
Yeah, he's the bad boy, like AJ
Yeah.
on the Backstreet Boys.
Yes, the same.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
I
much.
was big into the bad boys. You too, Ryan?
No.
Sensitive.
Not so much. I was into the... I was more of a Nick guy. Like, I like the well, never mind.
Does your voice get pretty like high pitched when you start thinking about them? Like, you get all like
Listen,
fuzzy
I'm
inside.
judging them purely. You guys are like attaching all kinds of cultural relevance to this. I am judging them as if I were on The Voice and I was just listening to the singers.
You're not.
That is exactly what I was
Well,
doing.
we're talking about Ninja Turtles.
I know. But
Accused burglar jumps off roof and tries to hide in a porta potty. This out of California. Officers responding to a burglary at a storage facility.
Wait a minute. What do you mean hide?
He was trying to get away.
They see him jump off the roof. They see a porta potty. They
did.
open it. He's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to go to the bathroom. He's wearing a monocle.
If you're playing Fortnite, that'll teleport you to another place on the map.
He's probably thinking. So he got portaled somewhere, hopped in a porta potty.
But where was he hiding? Just like on the other side of the door.
I don't know because I didn't
There's
do
not a
enough
lot of
research
room in those things. You ever been in one?
Yes.
Like, so it's
you
not
got
like you
two
can...
options. You either just go in and close the door, or you go further
down.
to hide.
I see what you mean. I think he took the more distinguished route. And they open the door and he goes, oh, he went that way.
Do you have a top hat on too?
He's hiding in the tank.
He's under me.
Anyway, he was
I'll get out of here.
Wrong with this show today.
You didn't hear it from me, the Monopoly man, but he's underneath me now. It was awkward.
I'm not even joking. You want a little behind the scenes information here? We're going to get done with this segment, and Ryan is going to laugh the entire commercial break because he's going to say, I don't know what's happening. He's going to have, this is an out-of-body experience for Ryan right now.
Okay, then let's bring it down
he's
and
keyed
answer
up.
these questions seriously. This is Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay with?
I am not okay.
Bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping.
He jumped off a roof. That's where I got that one.
No. Does Six Flags still have the dragon's wing thing?
Yeah.
It did a couple years ago.
Do you know what that is? It's
Yes.
like they strap you in, but then they pull you all the way. They pull you back, and then they release you, and you fly at more than drop. I've done that multiple times. I have no idea why I did that.
That's not bungee jumping,
No,
though, you know?
it's the closest thing.
It's
the closest thing.
Yeah.
You get
Okay.
strapped in, and then you go way high up, and then you
I won't do
go
that.
fly
No.
down. And I always went with somebody else because you could go with up to 3 people, and I could never be the person who would pull the cord. I'm like, I'll just hang out up there. I'm not pulling that cord. So
I get the sense, I've never done it, that the scariest part would be when you were flying downward.
I mean, actually, in that, it's like when you plummet into the pavement. When you're coming down, that is bungee jumping, and then right at the end, when the tension hits, you swoop up and you kind of fly. It's super fun, but I couldn't do it now. I'm too old to do it now. Have
I'm
anybody
not.
in here bungee jumped? Have you, Ethan?
I don't think that I can remember a time that I have.
I think you'd remember.
I think you
unless,
would.
unless it went poorly.
I probably did.
Have you ever been skydiving? I don't remember if I
Okay,
jumped out
to
of a
be
plane.
fair, there's like bungee jumping that you could do also in the mall, like when you're a little kid. That's like, I mean, that's not very memorable. So I don't have
You
any
could count
big
that and
crazy
just
times.
fluff up the story like Ryan does.
Last year, I kid you not.
Oh, God.
It was Niagara Falls.
We went out to the Creation Museum and the Ark out in Kentucky, and they had a platform there that was probably 20, 25 feet tall. I walked right off of it, but I was harnessed in, so I wasn't quite as afraid as if I were not harnessed in.
I'd like you to go back and listen to that. Go on, Trisha.
I didn't listen to it. New Zealand airport sets time limit on hugs. The airport in Dunedin has implemented a new 3-minute time limit on goodbye hugs in the drop-off area that is intended to prevent lingering cuddles from causing traffic jams. Max hug time 3 minutes warns a sign outside the terminal.
I'd like to implement this all the time.
Adding that those seeking fonder farewells should head to the airport's parking lot instead. Annie, are you okay with surprise hugs?
Surprise hugs. I am A-okay with any hug that is at an appropriate time. I am not okay with casual social hugs because that's how you say hello to people that you see every day.
What about surprise hugs?
What about the security guard up front?
Ryan keeps hugging the security guard.
Yeah, just as a hi.
She's not here today.
That's
No,
why.
there's still,
Because
yeah,
Ryan
there's
keeps
still a
hugging her.
security, yeah. I don't know. It really depends.
FYI, lingering cuddles is my dancer name.
That's That's not true. It's cold turkey.
Different type of dancing.
Oh, sorry, different show.
Lingering Cuddles is ballet.
I gotta write it down.
American Airlines adds oat milk creamer. American Airlines is adding oat milk creamer to its in-flight menu after animal welfare advocates petitioned the carrier to introduce a vegan creamer option. The group says that the change benefits cows while also providing a healthier, more environmentally friendly choice for passengers. You can get your oat milk creamer on American Airlines starting next month. Annie, are you okay with cows?
I love cows. We have to go pick up Molly, when she's at my in-laws or with her daytime nanny. They live out in the country, and we pass multiple pastures where they have a bunch of cows out there. And it doesn't matter what's going on. As soon as Molly sees them, she's just like, cows! and she's wears, like, if we're in a long drive, usually more than 30 minutes, she's wearing headphones because she's watching probably freaking Lion Guard in the car. And she doesn't have any idea of how loud she is. She wants to say something. It's just
She
full
just yells
volume.
cows?
Yeah. Oh, like points and yells.
I don't think that's a kid thing. I think everybody does that.
You do that, Ryan?
Yeah. Everybody. I was alone.
I think really that's what he's saying.
I was alone driving not too long ago, and I had to resist yelling cows. There's nobody in the car.
Is it only with cows?
Yeah. Yelling at the cows?
Yeah.
Cows! That's what you are.
I actually do that too. I do it with dogs too, but I do that with cows and horses.
Uh-huh.
Horses.
Yeah. Are any of you
You're driving?
like in general? Are you guys people who point out obvious things, but you just like say it out loud? My kids I say this all the time. My kids will be like, "Last night I was making some ramen on the stove," and my 8-year-old walks up. She's like, "You making ramen?" And I always go, "Nope." I don't say anything else. But like, just people who say out loud obvious things that everybody knows, but they're just the people who have to identify it publicly.
Not really, but
unless it's with cows.
Cows.
Yeah, with cows, it's different. It does seem like
it's the cow addendum.
Cows aren't going to sneak up on you, so it's not really necessary to yell cows. But what about deer? Deer are moving around. Sometimes you're like, oh, there's a deer. It's okay with deer, right? As an adult to yell deer.
Yes. Yes, it's okay.
Okay, good.
That happens in our car all the time.
What about skunk?
Yeah, you better acknowledge that.
If you smell it, but you don't see the skunk.
Oh, yeah.
Do you just yell skunk?
Yeah.
See?
So my kids don't. This is the state that we're in right now, kind of literally, but my kids have no idea what skunk smells like. They just smell weed. You'll be driving in the car, and you'll like drive right past a smashed skunk, and they're like, "Gosh, do you smell marijuana?" It's like, no, it's a skunk.
That is interesting.
It's completely flipped. Where you would normally be like, "Do you smell skunk?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Actually not. It's
This
pot.
hotel was really cheap. Must be a dead skunk in here.
Yeah, exactly. No, they smell weed everywhere. They're like, "Do you smell weed?"
Wow.
All the time. And
Yep.
then we'll be in like a store shopping. And then you know what it's like to be walking through, and all of a sudden you get hit with the whiff of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so obnoxious, like, oh, do you smell that? I'm like, shut up.
I like it when they're
Everybody smells it.
Everybody's high all the time.
Yeah, well, I have
What's
to be
the
like,
deal?
listen, guys, you're gonna smell it all the time in
Yeah.
Walmart. It's just gonna happen.
It's because of all the amendments that they've passed. Now, in like a couple weeks,
I
my
try
kids
to
are
tell
going to
them
be
that.
like, "Do you smell legalized gambling?" I'm be like, "Yeah, that's what that is."
What does that smell like, Ryan?
Oh.
You don't want to know.
You don't know yet. It's not legal.
And the last one. New bill would allow New Yorkers paid sick time to care for their pets. New York City could approve a new law that would allow employees to use paid sick leave to take care of their pets. The bill updates the Earned Safe and Sick Time Act that allows employees to take time off to care for themselves or family members. Supporters cite research that links pet ownership with reduced stress and increased physical activity. Annie, are you okay with dog parks?
I don't take my kids or kids.
Go take your kids to the dog park? Here you
Don't
go.
take them
Go.
either.
Run around. Run up
The
that
fry kids
seesaw
just
thing.
running around the dog park.
Going over the little obstacle
She runs
courses.
them off the leash.
They would love it.
Faster.
Running up that ramp.
It's called alternative parenting. Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Here's where you can be free range kids.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like. I'm always worried about how my dog might interact with another dog that maybe approaches them in a way. I don't know. It just makes me nervous.
Same.
And I've heard from like dog people that they're not the best, but I don't know. I think it probably just depends on your dog and how you know your dog and you know your dog best. So we'll take our dog on walks every morning at the park that's down the street. My husband walks her in the morning, and my son has been running with her in the evening. So we do lots of walks, but it's not I don't really feel the need to socialize my dog with other random dogs at any given time. Makes
Because you know how
nervous.
they socialize, right? Ugh. That's so gross.
Is that how you socialize?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. It's gross because when I was talking about, they smell their butts.
Okay, that's all I have. So.
Unfortunately, that's all we have too. But we
They're
still have one
showing
more
their
segment.
aspirations.
Yeah, huge aspirations.
And growth.
And tremendous growth.
What a callback. Let's take a quick break, or maybe a long break.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Just ain't right. And there's a better life. There's a better life. You got paid.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause. No fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. It's all part of our commitment to provide you with the ultimate in value and total confidence before, during, and long after your purchase. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
The Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown. With Sammy Kershaw.
That's my story.
Colin Ray.
Oh, that's my story.
And Aaron Tippett.
Now, she ain't a Cadillac.
Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
Nothing wrong with
Reserved seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour, 90s Electric Throwdown. Step into a world of enchantment this holiday season with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland. From awe-inspiring acrobatics to gravity-defying aerial feats, it's the perfect fusion of circus artistry and beloved holiday songs in a celebration guaranteed to create memories for the entire family. December 5th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Inspire your holiday spirit with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland.
The Social Security Trust Fund could run out of money in less than 10 years. Discover why this could change when you file for your benefits on Your Retirement Professors, Sunday evening at 6 on KFTK 97.1 FM Talk.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
We've been talking about it today. Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no? That's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. You find it by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube and then finding today's date, 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. 2 weeks and counting till the election, and the left is still going apoplectic about Trump's visit to McDonald's. We're going to cover that and a whole lot more. It's all coming up here after Fox News at 3.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. What was that YouTube poll you said there, Ryan?
Do you fear violence after the election? Yes or no?
So we used to do this a long time ago. We used to Snapchat the news when we would still do news updates. And I would put a Snapchat filter on Tony Colombo when he was on the show. And it was the funniest thing ever. We're going to start Snapchatting Ryan reading the poll and put it up in videos. But I did it today, and it's about violence. But the filter is ridiculous. I just don't feel like it's ethically correct to be joking about it.
I don't know. It might be okay.
What if it's not? What do you mean it might be okay?
I think there's only one way for you to find out, and that is to attach your name, do something very controversial, and find out.
Well, we're going to do it in the future. So make sure you subscribe to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. I'll upload those shorts to the YouTube channel and make Ryan a great success.
I don't look like Borat in that thing, do I?
Yeah, that's exactly that. I put the Borat filter on you.
Okay. I guess I'll watch that.
Do you feel like there's going to be violence after the election?
Yeah, I do. I just think we're in a place where that's become the norm. And I do think Donald Trump's going to win. And I do think that there is going to be angry protests that spill over into violence. Mm-hmm. And that probably starts in Washington, D.C. I hope it's not elsewhere. I hope that is all that will happen. But I do think it will happen.
What about you?
I think that there is. To your, I know you said you think that maybe they just may not have the energy for it if Trump wins. But I think that they're just like Alfred said
I don't
in
think
Batman.
that it's not about them having the energy to do it. I don't think that the country has is in the energy place right now to tolerate it.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. I don't think they'll tolerate it either, but I think that it'll be there. I think, either small pockets if it's a big win or large areas if it's very close and somebody doesn't like the way the results go.
Would Donald Trump, which term, let me rephrase here. If Donald Trump gets a second term, would he be able to be more successful in his second term consecutively, or will he be able to be more successful with a second term this way?
It's a great question, because the answer is that he will be more successful now. He would have continued doing basically what he was doing in his first term, which wasn't bad, but he needs to dismantle so much of, as Tucker Carlson puts it, permanent Washington, that he's ready to do that. And that's not going to look as scary as people think it will. The media will make a big deal when he starts firing half of the CIA and stuff and replacing the head of the FDA. But people will cheer. It's going to be good for America for that to happen, and it'll be manufactured outrage. So he will get a lot more done in this regard than he would have if he continued.
If he gets a lot more done this way, won't Americans of all walks of life understand the value of the difference of what the Democrats and the Republicans have to offer? If Donald Trump wins the presidency and goes and does what we anticipate that he will do, won't voters understand the difference in a way that we have never understood it for the people who are of voting generations right now, the newer voting generations, Gen X, millennials, and younger?
100%. Because typically these decisions that any politician makes, they usually take a little time before you see the results of those decisions. Democrats have gone so pedal to the metal on just the worst decisions that you can make on economy, spending, and calling it the Inflation Reduction Act. It was just ridiculous things. And then immigration, crime, you name it, really across the board, international relations, they've done a terrible job. And you see the results almost in real time. We've never seen that before, this fast. So the dichotomy between the two is more stark.
We're going to be able to measure in some way, shape, or form how many people voted in 2020 for Joe Biden who in 2024 vote for Donald Trump. That is a really interesting piece of information because that is a vote of regret. And Joe Biden sold himself as the not Trump, and successfully so. Kamala Harris is trying to do the same thing, but she's doing it on the heels of what not Trump did. Not Trump sucks. And she's more of the same suck.
Yep. If Trump wins the popular vote, that's millions of people in this country who switch sides in 4 years. That could happen.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't win the popular vote, I'm curious to see since with COVID, the way ballots were collected and the way a lot of people voted across the country, it was a little bit different than it is right now. I also think there's a large contingent of voters out there who are so unmotivated they don't love either of these candidates. I think that Donald Trump could get less votes in this election than he did last election. Donald Trump got the most votes of any president in the history of the country, save one person, Joe Biden. So Donald Trump increased his vote total, I think it was by about 8 million or something like that off the top of my head.
Yeah, because he was in the mid-60s. He went up to about 74.
He managed to get 8 million more people to show up to vote for him in 2020 in the midst of 96% negative coverage funded by billions of dollars in special interest money and in campaign donations. He still managed to get 8 million more people to vote for him. I don't know if you see those numbers show up in this poll on both sides.
Yeah, I said off air in the midst of all this craziness of this hour, if Donald Trump wins this, it's not just, yay, a conservative won or a Republican won. It's that the anti-establishment beat the establishment, beat it at every turn. The legal establishment, corporate America, the donations are there for Harris, Hollywood. Everything is against Donald Trump. And if he wins, that means it really was a populist victory for America.
It also means that the Constitution works, that it held up, that you can't gain power and then just maintain that power no matter how hard you try, that the Constitution works, people are able to vote, and the people are ultimately still the ones in charge.
Let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. Ethan, you got the results for us for today?
Here we go. 366 votes for today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you fear violence after the election? 64% say yes to 36% saying no.
Wow, 2/3. That's closer. I don't know. I feel like that's close enough to where I have hope that it could still be the no. And we've talked about this quite a bit, that it does depend on who wins and who loses, the likelihood of it. There's going to be a huge amount of hopelessness for a lot of people if Kamala Harris wins. Yeah. After 2020 and this election where everything looks like it's going in the right direction, it's going to be a major gut punch that I'm currently preparing myself for. I don't want to be disappointed. It's like I can be prepared for bad news, but I don't want to be disappointed because I expected good and I got bad news.
Like that's in your control, so you're gonna.
I can. That's what I can handle. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. Coming up next.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Financial health is more than just really the investments. You have to look at tax consequences. You have to think about legacy planning or generational planning or your healthcare options. Those all go together with your financial health.
Join Matt Goolsby for Retire Hour to hear his team in finance, healthcare, estate, and taxes discuss changes in law, strategic planning, and answer listener questions. Submit your questions to be answered live on air at retirehour.com. Retire Hour, Sundays at 7 a.m., right here on KFTK.
At Hampton Manor of Wentzville, they go the extra step to make sure their residents feel special. Mark Cox here from my friends at Hampton Manor. I recently stopped by there. You know, their veterans are celebrated with special recognitions, including special pastries created by their pastry chef. They have their own private chef. They'll even feed you lunch if you stop by for a visit at this great senior living community off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. Schedule your appointment today at WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state